Hello. So day 6 update. Today is day 7, November 7th. We are officially through our first week of NaNoWRIMO. How's it going for you? I am thrilled with my progress. I actually rewarded myself with a little Starbucks red cup today, and it's super cute. And I love that they gave me the one that has red and pink on it, even though I'm wearing an orange shirt today. I think this is the best the lighting is gonna get, so we're gonna roll with it. I had an incredible day yesterday. Not only did I sleep in and rest, but I took my time in the morning. I felt good about the update, and thank you so much for all your kind words on the update. It feels so good to be able to just shift and say, okay, now let's focus on writing, which is exactly what I did. So I headed out to Best Buy, got a new charger for my laptop because I'm always forgetting something important. And then I headed to Magnolia Press and I did buy a t-shirt. So how cute is this? Green, which I'm feeling the greens lately. I don't know what it is. I'm just like really attracted to green. So super cute, very light cotton tee. This thing was $34, but worth it. I love it. It's super cute t-shirt. The coffee was very good and the vibe was so nice. I was able to sit at a nice sort of like library desk table where a lot of people were sharing the space, and from the window I could see the silos. I did not go into the silos to shop, and I did not get a cupcake, which everyone has been telling me to do. I've been trying to avoid sugar, but if I hit my word count goal for the afternoon, I'll try and go by the silos today or the bakery. Actually, maybe I'll do it on Wednesday before I leave, and that can be just my little sugary reward or treat before I head home. But I focused on the writing, and they closed, the Magnolia section closes at 6 p.m. So it was crazy that it was already getting dark because daylight savings time makes everything dark. But I enjoyed it, and they had twinkly lights on, and I'm guessing that the strings of lights are there for the Christmas season, but I don't know, maybe they're there all the time. But it was very, very nice. And I only got in 4 sprints, which I had hoped to get 6 sprints in before I came home. I only got 4, but it did not matter because I wrote like almost 1,000 plus words every single sprint. I wrote 4,799 words at Magnolia in just 4 sprints, which really is a testament to not only the process of being able to come here and just sort of focus solely on my story without any other distractions, but it's also just the place in the story that I've hit that I'm like, okay, I know what these scenes are gonna be. But as I was reaching sort of the end of it, I started having a lot of doubts, and especially once I had broken from that focus session and I was on my way home and getting dinner, which I had my very first In-N-Out burger yesterday. I have never had an In-N-Out burger, but I heard that you can get it like protein style where they put it in a lettuce wrap. So I was like, I'm gonna go get an In-N-Out burger, and it was very good. So if you have ever had one, let me know. I don't know if it's the healthiest thing, but it was really enjoyable. So I got a burger, I came home, and that's when the doubt started to really set in. It was already after 7, and I had only done 4 sprints for the day when I had hoped to do more like 15. And I started feeling like, even though I was writing a good volume of words, they weren't perfect. And of course, I know you're screaming at the screen and saying, it's never going to be perfect. Stop trying to be perfect. And of course, I know this, that we're never going to be perfect. But I'm at a point right now where it has been over 2 years, 2.5 years since I've had a full-length novel release. And I understand logically why it has been this break. I've been focused on my courses and travel and getting my family settled. And it's difficult to focus on the writing, which feels like a long-term, very difficult project when there's so much immediate things, daily things in my heart breathings business that need to be taken care of, and it's supporting my family and all these things. It's just the writing feels hard, and so I think I resist it a little bit more. And you guys know, those of you that have been following this channel know that I have spent time this year to get back to the joy of the writing process. And that takes, it's not just like, okay, I spent a month on it and now I'm back in the joy for the rest of my life. Like, it's a daily decision to refocus back on the joy parts of the writing, because there's always a deadline, and unless you are someone who is just writing for the joy and you don't really expect to have readers or make money or try to make a name for yourself or be in libraries or be in bookstores, like if it's just the writing, you may not feel this way. But most of us who are in it because we're authors and we want people to actually read and consume our work, there is this relationship always in the writing between us as writer and creative and our books. But there's also a relationship between our work and our readers and the expectations they have about it coming out and all of that. And while I know for 1,000%, because my readers have really been, here for me and waiting, I know that there are still a lot of readers like waiting and excited, and that makes me very happy. I also know that in order to continue being a full-time author as an indie writer, I need to be publishing books. It's part of the process. And I don't know if it's sort of a myth, but in my head, I sort of feel like traditionally published authors have a little bit more leeway, like a book a year is amazing. But for indies, 3 books a year can feel slow, right? And 3 books a year is hard. So when it's been 1 book in 3 years, there's a pressure that comes with that. And I, this year, have been learning to navigate that pressure and that relationship between me and my readers by trying to sort of separate it out and saying, I need to focus first on the joy of the process so that I can hand over to my readers a book that is fully formed and fully my heart and as good as I can make it. But I cannot bring my readers into the writing session with me as a form of pressure of getting it done faster. Does that make sense? It's like what was happening, and I think what was holding me back and hindering me for a long while, like over a year, is that every time I would sit down, I felt in some sort of strange metaphorical way that my readers were surrounding me. And I know, okay, it sounds worse than I mean it, because they're supporting me, but it's almost not like the readers were surrounding me, but the expectations of the readers were surrounding me, which, if we really want to go deeper into the psychology here, it's really my own expectations and fears that were surrounding me in the form of what I am projecting onto my readers. And I know that's the truth, but anyway, we don't have to get into a therapy session here for me, but I think that instead of just sitting down and being with the story and saying, the muse always wins and it takes as long as it takes, and I'm just here to enjoy and make progress, I was always, especially as a goal setting person, I was just talking about this yesterday, I was always bringing to the table an expectation that this has to be good enough as fast as possible. And so as I'm writing, especially on these prolonged writing sessions like I had yesterday, when I took a break and I knew that I had to get back into it, I was feeling massive levels of resistance because I stepped out of my story and into expectation and fear of, okay, you wrote 5,000 words, but they're still not great. Like they're still not perfect. And I felt like once I had these cards written down and I knew exactly what was supposed to be happening, that it would just translate and flow onto the page as a complete story. And sometimes that has happened really well for me, that it just needed minor tweaks. But this story is continuing to be the most complex story I have ever written, even though there's no magic in this story. It's just structurally complex. And I keep coming across like more questions, things that didn't quite fit together in this puzzle piece. And so I have to keep working it. And that is fine, except that I have this fear and pressure of, I've told my readers it's coming out this year. I've told my readers it's like my own fault for continuing to say things that I am hopeful about, but I don't know. And that's on me too. But it's this feeling of, I need it to come together faster. And that feeling of inadequacy, dissatisfaction, pressure, rush is dangerous because it makes me feel resistance. It makes me feel anxiety. It makes me feel like I'm not doing well enough, even though I got 5,000 words in 4 sprints. Like that's incredible. and I should be celebrating it. But there's a piece of my brain that is over here saying, it's not enough, it's not enough, it's not enough, it's not enough. So I'm gonna pause this and move because I feel like the sun is gradually gonna take over my face. Okay, I feel like the lighting looks different over here, but it might be better over here. But anyway, let's continue the rant. So for me, this is historical too. Like I felt this way with this doubt and this pressure ever since I started publishing, but I feel like it's ramped up a little bit now because the longer it takes me to finish, the more I feel the pressure of, I gotta get this done. Why isn't it coming together? As if I could just like effort hard enough and make it be good. But the truth of the writing process is that it is exactly that. It's a process. And for most of us, it's an iterative process. We come up with a solution, we put it down on paper. It's not exactly what we want. So we go back and we edit it and we make it a little bit better, but maybe then it's still not what we want, and we throw it out and we try again. And sometimes it's a process of iteration after iteration after iteration, over and over and over again. And that is just the work, right? But also the work is managing our own mind and the outside pressures, whether they're real or perceived, and being able to keep at it even when it feels really hard, or even when it feels like we're not measuring up, even when it feels like we're not good enough, and even when it feels like it should have been together by now, it should have been finished by now, and we still have, in the words of Robert Frost, miles to go before I sleep. It's like, that's the way I felt last night, is like, I've come so far, but there's still so much work to do, and it takes stamina, it takes talent, it takes stick-to-itness, it takes perseverance and determination, and it takes joy too. And so those feelings of, or worries of, it's not coming together fast enough are less than useless, right? It's not helping me. If I could harness it as motivation to keep working and to push myself in a healthy way, I will use it. But there's also a balance there of understanding that boundary of, this is no longer useful for me. I just need to get back to work, because sitting here and trying to wish that I had done it better in the past or that I had made different choices in the past is not going to be helpful for me at this stage of the game. So I was able to sort of reframe my mind, focus on the positives only. And anytime a negative came into my mind about the timeline, I just told myself, my fans will be happy with this whenever it comes out. My fans love me. I have the best fans in the world. The story will be amazing for the time that I put into it. And I just kept giving myself positive affirmations. And then I got back to work, and I was able to come back after the 5,000 words and write another about almost 7,000 words later this afternoon. Or yesterday evening, and I ended up with 11,728 words total yesterday, which is the most words I have written in a day. Well, maybe I can't remember what I did last year on my Austin retreat. It might have been similar, but in a year, it's been great. So that puts me up at, I actually didn't write down my final word count in the document, but it puts me very close to 60,000 words in this book. And as it has expanded, I'm pretty sure this book is going to be about 90,000 words. So I have 30,000 words to go, but not all of it is total rewrites, I hope. I think that if I can get between 10 and 12,000 words today, I will finish Act 3 or Part 3 of the book and into Act 4, at which point I will need to reevaluate what I have on these sheets and see if what I have currently written in my rough draft is going to be good enough, or is going to be right puzzle pieces to fit the story, or if I'm going to have to make changes. And even then, once those next 30K words are done, I still have a lot of work that I need to do. And my job right now is to not allow myself to feel the pressure of that future work, and instead to focus in on what needs to get done today and staying in a positive mindset of, I'm doing great, just keep showing up, it's gonna work out, it's always working out. positive, 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 because there is no other path. I cannot beat myself up enough about the past or how fast it's coming together and cause myself to get it together faster. That's not how this works. Like, the only way I get it together faster is just to continue to show up in a positive, joyful way and continue to keep my mind on the puzzle of the story and not the shortcomings of my own fear and past choices. So, rewards, by the way, I'll show this more in the vlog, but I have been able to open 2 rewards because I came to the retreat with 5,000 plus words, so I got to 10,000 on the first day and opened this one. I'm like, where's my camera? Hello Kitty one. And then last night I got this Bats Maru Egyptian one, and he's wearing a little Hello Kitty bow, which I love. And each box came with stickers, so that is fun. So I did bring a 3rd box just in case, and I'm very excited to say that I think there is a chance I will be opening this today. And then I'll head home tomorrow. So I will update, I'll do an update like this just to sit down. This obviously took longer than I expected, 16 whole minutes of just chat, but I will update you again tomorrow on my progress. I'm going to a bookstore today to write, so I'm gonna get going. And I am wishing you all the best. Let me know how your first full week of NaNoWRIMO went. And if you are feeling those feelings of doubt or pressure, like I should have finished this already, I shouldn't be still working on this, I shouldn't have blah, blah, blah. Take the shoulds out of it, focus on the positive, and get back to work on your story. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.